Welcome back to Gold Squadron podcast coverage of the X-Wing World Championship, Day 1B, Round 4. We've got two 2-1 players, Mikhail, Jenkins, and Michael here at the table, and I'm joined by my partner, Joel Killingworth. Joel, how are you doing this day?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. We've had 3 incredible matches in a row here, and I'm excited to see what we get out of Mikhail and Steven today.
Yeah, I am too. Again, 2-1 here are the records. Really looking to go 3-1. 5 is the magic number, right? And that means any 3 losses will not make. All 5 and 2s make. Anything else doesn't. You don't want to be put on the back foot this early in the tournament.
Exactly.
So just looking at the deployments here, Mikhail going with double Jedi and then double Y-Wing. Bottom corner, Michael, his Imperial list. We've seen the Inquisitor all day long, right? Just this Inquisitor concussion missiles. We talk about it a lot. Force, evade, target lock, so strong. Jendon giving those target locks early on. What do you expect from Steven here? Again, we have offset deployments here, so likely no engagement early on.
Right. I think we're going to see use of Jendon's ability on the first turn, as we see now, and then we're going to get locks out of all 3 of the small ships.
Right.
So that'll be pretty telling on who he thinks that he's going to try to collapse on later on when the engagement happens.
Now, let's see. We're usually seeing multiple concussion missiles. We're really only seeing 1 concussion here, 1 diamond boron, right? And let's see, goes on to matchstick. Okay.
Yeah.
Y-Wings are a good choice. 1 agility. Relatively easy to off if you're putting multiple shots down, right?
Sure. So the combination of diamond boron missiles and concussion missiles is really interesting. You can have, with diamond boron missiles, of course, they have the splash damage mechanic, so that if you hit your target, you can spend an additional charge to make your target and everyone range 1 of your target that has the same agility or lower roll a die and take what they get.
Right. And there's only 3 charges on attack here. So let's say he takes the first shot, spends it for the splash, only able to do it once and can't splash again, right?
Right, unless he has reload, which in this case the bomber does. So there is the potential, if he is left alone for long enough, to reload and do it again.
Yeah, and on Mikhail's side here, Obi-Wan, Plo Koon, you know what I'm noticing they're missing? Any sort of regen, right? We saw these lists earlier, I think today and yesterday. All these Jedi regenning, right? Regenning above, back on half, running away. Not the case here with Obi-Wan and Plo Koon. If he takes damage, that damage is going to stick. He has CLT too, so only 4 hull across 3 agility, right? Behind 3 agility.
So you see Mikhail coming in with his own target lock strategy here. All 3 of his other ships are target locking matchstick. Because matchstick's ability is that he gets, when he's attacking, he gets to re-roll for every red token that he has.
Right.
So those locks are red tokens.
Yeah.
So he gets full re-rolls on his ion cannon turret.
Exactly, yeah. So no consequence of doing it here, right? Just making sure you can always switch off the target lock later. I think that's a really cool mechanic for matchstick there. Looks like we're going to go back to dials here. Is that Whisper I see cloaked and off to the corner?
That is. And it looks like he chose to cloak instead of taking passive sensors in the first turn to take advantage of the long-range target locking out of Jendon.
Yeah, I do think that's interesting. Let's see. So we only have the 2 locks, right? Scimitar and Inquisitor, and really only the 2 that, need it necessarily, right? For those munitions to go off. Dials down really quick here for Mikhail. Likes to probably go straight here with the Ys. And both players, again, asking questions, making sure they understand the list. Probably a couple turns away from an engage.
Yeah. So it looks like Whisper is coming on down with a straight decloak. It's worth noting here that the black Y-Wing is matchstick.
Right.
He has veteran turret gunner with those extra re-rolls on the turret shot.
Yeah.
So he's going to want to be facing the engagement. And then the yellow coated Y-Wing is broadside. And he gets to change a blank to a focus result when he's firing his turret out the side.
Yeah.
So he's going to want to kind of skirt around the edge of the engagement. So he's going to want to kind of take a longer approach, and then Matchstick's going to want to come and face it head on.
Okay. Steven here starting to move. Whisper going further away, almost trying to draw in those other ships, right? Happy to take a skirmish with a Y-Wing or even 2. Pretty good at that.
Yep.
And then Jendon with the other 2 munitions. Coming along here on these sides, right, we see these big open spaces that dictate so much. That turn 0 kind of dictating the deployment and the movement. Yeah.
Now, the special danger that these Y-Wings pose in this matchup is that, they can inflict ion tokens, right? And especially either of any of the small ships, they get 1 ion token and they have to suffer the effects of ionization, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it can be a pretty quick path to being locked down, and then the Jedi know where you're going to be, and they can put bullseye on you and get that CLT extra hit out of it. So it looks like Whisper didn't want to play after all.
Yeah, and I think I didn't think Steven wanted to take it all head on, right?
Yeah. Obi-Wan turning up toward the main Imperial force, coming out to the edge of the board.
And just to give some context on these lists a little bit, we are in round 4, 5 and 2 make. From day 1A of the tournament, we had 10 Galactic Republic lists make the cut. That's tied for the most with Separatists, and then right behind that in 3rd place is Empire, right?
Yeah.
So both these players really doing these popular factions coming in, right? We're going to see a lot of these in the cut. We're going to see a lot. We saw a lot of them yesterday. We're going to see a lot today.
Yeah.
I think it's these, and we're seeing very similar themes, right? Jedi, some with regen, now some with not. A lot of Inquisitor concussion missiles, It's just so cheap of a package and does a ton, really hard to kill, right?
Yeah. And we've already talked quite a bit about the control that the Y-Wings with the ion turrets have. But we haven't mentioned yet that there is Sloan on board the Lambda.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Right? And so the minute that any of these ships get stressed, and that's re-rolls for all of the Imperial ships.
Yeah.
And then any time that one of the Imperial ships gets killed, as long as they're in range 3 of the Lambda, then the ship that did that final damage takes 2 stress.
Right.
So that can be pretty potent control as well.
Yeah. Really not looking to get stressed here on Obi. Really not looking for stress on Plo.
Right. Yeah, fortunately for Mikhail, none of his ships habitually take stress.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a matter of when they do a sloop or a K-turn or something like that. So looking at these approaches, I think that Whisper just continues to play keep away, right?
Yep, and there it is, right? Decloaking up.
And then at some point, you're going to want the 2 small ships to kind of get ahead of the shuttle, or at least get around the side of the shuttle a little bit. But since they both have missiles, maybe he's looking to just screen with the shuttle, right?
Yeah.
And get the shuttle in front.
Again, yeah, we've seen that with the other concussion list. And so just throwing it out there, right? I think, you've played a lot of shuttle too. There's times where you go, okay, I need to jam it in here. Not quite ideal, but it's what you need to do, right? And there's sometimes you just want to lean back, right?
Yeah.
Get those coordinates, just take those passive 3 dice shots.
Oh, here we go. So he stops here, and that's going to let the small ships get ahead the next turn.
Right.
Yeah.
Mikhail turning in here. Too big. Again, just content, to keep going up here. Maybe looking at this, right, as a good engagement point.
Yeah.
I think both sides kind of like that as well. And it looks like Steven does have the first player marker here. Mikhail taking a 3-point bid. Steven going up to 200, so Whisper will be moving before Obi-Wan and Plo Koon.
So that barrel roll out of Whisper means that she'll have the option to decloak any way that she wants next turn, which is a major consideration anytime that you're playing a Phantom. You want to keep those options open. Not so much that you're actually going to use all of them, but more that you don't want your opponent to automatically know what you're going to do every turn.
Yeah. So
Obi-Wan turning back in, deciding he doesn't want to go solo the entire Imperial list.
I was just about to say, man, we started with Steven breaking off his Whisper, and now Mikhail's going to break off his Obi-Wan. They both retreat right back, right?
Yeah.
Again.
Oh, no, never mind. We're good.
Yeah. Well, with all these lists we've seen, I can say the most common theme, I've been casting for 2 days now, and now a 4th round today, the most common theme is approach is everything, right? I think
Absolutely.
most X-Wing lists really feel that way, where if you don't get the approach right, you're just not in position. You're behind, you're scraping, and then you're coming up against time, right? And you're just really hoping for some variant spikes to make sure you're ahead at that point. So don't blame I don't blame any of these players here for just taking it slow for the first couple rounds. I think we probably got one more round of feel out right before someone takes advantage here.
Yeah, I think so. Because Obi-Wan is still in a good position to just take that one bank up right here and then still have a lot of options and not actually be boxed into where he can't get away if the Empire ships come in hard, right? Because he can then dive behind this cloud. If they come straight, he can come out here and then come in. So I feel like it's going to be another turn before we actually see what shape the initial engagement's going to be.
Right. And while they're setting dials here, just some context on day 1A, right? When we look at just percent of field, so list total of players played, Imperial 22% highest, second highest Republic 19, Separatist third, tied with Rebel for 15 and 0.3%, Scum below that, then Resistance, and last is First Order, right? Now we saw First Order earlier, so we know it's represented here, but again, following the trend here of these more popular lists.
So again, we see Mikhail's dials coming down rather quickly. It looks like Steven's dials are already down.
Yeah, and they're both ready to go here. Decloak, again, Whisper coming back out, right?
Yeah.
Coming out, then in, then back out.
Yeah, just really looking for those Y-Wings to commit so that she can come around the outside and attack from the flank where she's not threatened. Looks like the small ships coming in as slowly as they can, still wanting to see how things shape up before committing. Really, the most important variable here is what did Mikhail do with Obi-Wan, I think.
Yeah.
Because Obi-Wan's really looking for the same opportunity that Whisper's looking for and try to catch that flank where you can really commit to offense without having to worry about protecting yourself.
I think Mikhail's thinking, if I had to guess, one hard left here, again, just to make sure that Steven has to honor the flank, right?
Yeah.
Again, not committing yet, but at least making Steven think about it. Oh, and there's the barrel roll over.
So then the shuttle coming in on a one bank. Looks like it clips the debris. Yep. So that has the potential for a damage. No damage. Still stressed. But now he has full access to this lane right in here.
Yeah, and it looks like you drew it, and there comes the Y-Wing straight into that lane. And for those watching who didn't catch the beginning, that is Matchstick with the black ring around it, and those are target locks on Matchstick from Broadside, from Plo, from Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah, and he's going to be able to use the fact that those locks are on him. Those are red tokens, and those give him rerolls on his turret attacks.
Let's see, 2 turning here with Matchstick.
Yeah, so he's really looking to take the engagement head on with Matchstick because he's got veteran turret gunner.
Right.
And then he really wants to take the engagement kind of at an angle with Broadside in order to get his ability out the side arc.
Yeah. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what the Jedi do here, but I think Whisper presents a really tough option here.
Oh, okay. So Mikhail is using first edition locks. So he's got 2 pieces, which was the way that it was done in first edition.
Right.
1 piece to identify the source of the lock, which is what we see in silver on his other 3 ships. And then 1 piece to identify the target of the lock,
Yeah.
which is what we see in the stack of gold locks on Matchstick.
Yeah.
So this next turn is really interesting for Whisper because Whisper would really like to come over here and then just be able to come down and see what's what, right?
Yeah.
But we've got Plo, who could potentially come around and make trouble.
Yeah.
And Plo's going to be moving after Whisper.
Yeah, and that is actually the official Plo, right, that you
Yep.
get for participation here. You can see the base there has the picture of Plo on it. I know Wade was really proud of that, working on it. And actually, fun fact for the trivia, this is Wade's first prize that he pitched in his job interview. He told us that early on before World started. So he's been going after this for almost 5 years now. And again, I think you're right with Plo. And, you know, there's the one bank. We look at arcs here. You can always look at arcs to determine priority, right? Casting this wide net, right? Very cognizant of this Whisper, very cognizant of this grouping here. I think if Steven can get Mikhail to thinking about this area instead of here, I think that's a good thing, right? Steven's looking at those ordnance and looking at that shuttle and saying, hey, I think that I can do a lot of damage on Matchstick, and I don't think you're going to be able to do a ton on Whisper. And if you do, I could probably trade that damage right back.
Right. So I think what Mikhail is probably going to do here is go ahead and commit to the Joust with his Y-Wings. And then since these guys don't have locks on Obi-Wan, right, I think Obi-Wan feels pretty good in going ahead with a 2 straight or something to come on in.
Yeah.
And if they turn toward him, then he's not going to be taking a whole lot, right? And then he has fine-tuned controls to double reposition out of it if he needs to.
Yeah, you could very easily see a forward here and a barrel roll, right?
Yeah.
If needed, and then taking a defensive mile like a focus or something like that. Again, kind of limiting the splash damage too from diamond boron missiles, concussion missiles. You're not going to get the evade and the force, right? So kind of limiting the Inquisitor, right? The efficiency you could have with the Inquisitor if choosing to target lock, right? Yeah.
So I think maybe we could see a I don't know, how fast can those Y-Wings go on a straight? Just looking at this. This is also, as a side note, the most Wave 5 content that we've seen in a single game so far on stream today.
Yeah, that's true.
With 2 Y-Wings from Wave 5. So it looks like the 4 straight is red on this dial. So we might see a 3 straight out of Matchstick here to just try and get that range 1, maybe range 2 on whichever target he wants. And then maybe a 3 bank out of Matchstick and because we've got the threat from Whisper, maybe a 1 bank out of Plo Koon to just cover that and see how this engagement goes before committing with your fragile ship.
Right. And you heard there on the table audio, Mikhail asking Steven, what's the fastest straight? That's blue, right? Because the Inquisitor is stressed there. Counting 3, little bit of an offset rule of 11 here, right?
Yeah.
Coming in on a center joust and then still having to count, right? That makes it very difficult when you can't just count up and down to 11. You kind of have to use your eyes a little bit, have your instincts ready. I really like something fast from Obi-Wan here. It looks like both players ready to go here. Dials down, decloak. Yeah, again, no surprises there. Just checking that right-hand side of the board.
Playing leapfrog with the missile carriers here.
Yep. And again, that is a bomber. That's not a second Inquisitor. That is a bomber. So we've got 4 unique ships here on the Empire side.
Four different ships.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So looking for an action on the bomber, probably going to be a focus. Yep. And then a 2 straight from the Inquisitor.
A little more leapfrogging action.
Yeah, which is guaranteed not to bump because
when both ships that are like that go the same speed, it's not bumping, right?
Yep. Well, if they started bumping, but in this case they didn't. They were
Yeah.
a little bit off each other. Assuming you're parallel. If you start to get a little bit of wiggle there, right? Like you start to get a little bit
we
of
start
an
getting
angle.
really into the minutiae of that. You and I are going to sit there and we're going to call a judge.
Yeah. All right, so he takes an evade. He's got a force token to modify with, so he's happy with that.
Yeah. Very safe maneuvers here, right? Kind of just saying, I know I'm going to get this, right?
So there's that 3 bank out of broadside.
Yeah. has the turret facing left already. I think he gets both of them, right?
Well, the turret's only range 2.
Yeah, it's
so
gonna. We'll need to measure.
I think he's probably only going to get to shoot at the shuttle.
Right.
The shuttle being reinforced really hurts in this position because the shuttle's not going to take nearly as much damage as you might want, being reinforced. So going ahead and taking shots into it feels bad. But Matchstick, if Matchstick comes up fast and just starts pouring into the bomber or the Inquisitor.
3 straight going fast here.
So he's actually got targets on all 3.
Yeah, it's got the Inquisitor too, probably right outside of range 1 there, but for sure range 1 there on Jendon.
Yeah. So he will have his primary and then rerolls on the turret shot.
And his focus. Oh, Whisper getting right there in on the flank.
Yeah. He's gonna use passive sensors.
Yep.
He's ready to go.
Yeah. No real threat here. Yeah, and going quick here from Mikhail.
Got that fast shot there.
Has 3 Forcer fine tune if he wants it.
So it looks like he's going to fine tune.
For sure. He's getting into range 1 there. I wonder if the Inquisitor is the target here.
Could be. I don't think he has bullseye on the Inquisitor.
Yeah, and with calibrated laser, it's only 3, right?
Yeah. So I think he might be going after that bomber in the back. Yeah. Now, with the Diamond Boron missiles, what he has done is he has spread out his Y-wings, so there isn't any opportunity for splash damage onto his other Y-wing, right?
Yeah.
Because that's only a range 1 bubble.
Right. Now, if he spends it, would Jendon have to take it, right? Is it
would.
all ships?
He would. But Steven has control over that. It's a May to spend for that effect.
Right.
So he would just decline to do so.
Yeah, and he would have 2 charges for the next time if it comes up again.
Right.
But, I know this when you play Ordnance, it's really hard after the initial gauge to get the Ordnance back again.
Right.
Yeah. So passes Plo. Steven using passive, changing the lock.
Oh, he did have a lock.
Yeah, he did. We missed the passive.
There was a coordinate in that first turn that we missed. Yeah.
And so here it is.
So
this is Whisper onto broadside.
Yeah. All right, so 2 and a crit.
Yeah, and the chassis ability changes that to a hit, right?
The chassis ability should have been before 5th Brother, so he shouldn't be able to do that.
Okay. Ends up being net 3 on broadside right now. We're going to check on that card.
It was irrelevant to this shot
yeah.
because there were shields.
Yeah.
Yep, so Obi into the bomber with 2 and a crit.
Range 1, added from CLT, spent the focus. 2 evades. Ooh.
So 1 crit onto a shieldless bomber. Direct for 2 damage.
Yep.
So then we're probably looking at a follow-up from Matchstick.
That's right. Pointing out that Plo still has to shoot at I-5.
Yeah, and catching up on all of the pseudo missed opportunities here.
Yeah, and well, it's the first engagement. I think both players are being really good sportsmen about it.
Yeah. All right, so range 2 in the shuttle. Spending a force for 2 hits onto the shuttle. And so the shuttle takes 1 damage after reinforce.
Would have been 1 no matter what, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
now primer sticking to the same target.
Yeah.
Range 2.
It was range 2 to either target, so he goes ahead.
Reroll for Matchstick. And he'll spend it for max damage here. Yep.
Yeah.
So Obi-Wan forced there to get the focus back.
Yeah.
Yep.
So looks like he takes another 1. So that is
Half points. Yeah.
Yeah. So now the ion turret follow up.
Reroll all 3. Is
Reroll
it the
the
number?
blank.
Oh, he's got
And-
focus.
And he still has that focus, man. Oh.
Yeah, no problem there.
So out of 6 screens, the bomber rolls 4 evades and a focus.
Yeah, it seems pretty good.
Yep. So now looking at what the Inquisitor wants to shoot at.
Yeah.
So it is range 2 from the Inquisitor to broadside, or matchstick rather.
Yeah.
So he could fire his concussion missiles
Yes.
here. And so they're talking through the different iterations of
Plated hull.
of what the different abilities involved might do.
So it looks like Jendin first. Yep.
Yeah, Jendin first into matchstick. For 1 and 2 crits.
Yep.
Yep.
2 so 2 shields here. So concussion missile from Inquisitor, same thing, 3-on-1 here. Has the force for modification, has the target lock. Yep, so 2 there. Going to take 2 here.
So that is all shields and 1 card. So now we have broadside shot. He's looking at what he gets out of that side arc. Looks like it's 3 to the Inquisitor, so if he wants to use his turret, it's going to have to be into Jendin.
Yeah. Ion, choosing Ion into Jendin here.
Yeah. So he's going to roll 4 because it's range 1. Ooh, and spin.
Gets all 4. Looking at Ion definitely here, right?
No.
So actually, no, yeah, 2.
So he takes a single damage and a single ion token.
Yeah, so not Ion yet. Needs another one. Needs 3, right?
Yeah, needs 2 more for the large base. All right, Diamond Boron from the bomber into matchstick.
It's such a cool name. Steven commented on it. I think we agree. Diamond Boron.
All right, 1 crit showing.
Spends the target lock. Yep.
All right, verifying that all locks have now been spent. And 2 crits.
So changing 1 for plated hull.
Yeah.
Hit crit.
All right. Now that plated hull is no longer in effect
Blinded pilot.
as long as there is a face-up card there.
Yep.
So matchstick down to 2 hull after that engagement. No one got ionized, which is probably a little bit less than what Mikhail had hoped for.
Right.
But he did end up taking the brunt of everything with his Y-wings, which is definitely what he wants. He doesn't want that damage sitting on his Jedi.
Yeah, and if you're Mikhail here, you're looking to trade a little bit more. You would hope to get the bomber here. A little bit kind of under average for taking bomber. It is 6 hull after all.
Mm-hmm.
Broadside taking 3 shield here. Matchstick on 2. He gives up half on it, right? So that's a lot of points already off the bat. But man, broadside's really close to half as well.
Yeah.
And I like Whisper's position here a lot, right?
Yeah,
Decloak away.
nice.
I think that's fairly telegraphed, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I think the shuttle here just does a 1 straight. Just kind of comes up here, splits those Y-wings, right? Has that rear arc.
Right, yeah.
Maybe looking for some sort of block on Plo, if possible. I think that would be gravy.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
So looking at what the health totals are, thinking through the options here, deciding which ship they need that Steven needs to collapse on in this following turn in order to inform his maneuver choices. So I think Obi-Wan probably does a 1 hard here. You think?
Yeah, I think so. I would imagine they're not there anymore.
I mean, there's certainly the potential for the 1 straight out of the bomber to block him.
Yeah.
If he does that 1 hard, but the alternative is to do a more aggressive turn like a 3-hard or something, or to go ahead and sloop out.
I
right?
like the sloop better here because you have matchstick right there, kind
Right.
of clogging up. Again, it kind of depends because the turret's facing forward here, rightfully so with the veteran turret gunner. Just depends on what you do. What you do with that Y-wing determines a lot what with you, the Jedi. Normally, it's kind of the opposite, right? When you
Right.
think about these type of ace ships, you're planning the ace first and then doing the Y-wing after.
Mhm.
I think because you have the traffic jam there,
Yeah.
you have to plot out a safe course for the Y-wing. Matchstick's on 2, you're going to bleed up a lot of points. It's a 57-point Y-wing, right? These are not cheap Y-wings.
Right.
Yeah. So you want to make sure you get some more value out of it before it eventually dies.
Now, one thing you could do is if you feel like you can block up Whisper with Plo,
Yeah.
right? Then what you can do is you can go ahead and take that sloop with Obi-Wan, right? Hopefully get bullseye on the 2 small ships here, right? And then as they come up and probably just get mangled up in here, you just take the 1 straight with matchstick, and since he still has all of these re-rolls from the target locks, you go ahead and you take the range 1 on the bomber, which is hopefully right about here. And that way you kind of guarantee, okay, I'm going to get between the I-5 Obi-Wan and the I-4 matchstick, I'm going to be able to deal the 3 damage to kill that bomber and hopefully live through the turn. So here we see the decloak from Whisper. Looks like if he takes the 1 hard back in, he might clip that cloud. So I wonder what he has planned. But even if he clips the cloud, that's probably fine because then he can just decloak off of it the following turn.
Yeah, and we do have a judge over at the table, and they're walking through the play the whole timing just to make sure they get it right. Again, was not relevant, right, for the first because of the shield,
Right.
but just we want to make sure they get it right, later on. It could matter.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
Bomber starting out here 2 straight.
mm-hmm. So it looks like if we get another 2 straight out of the Inquisitor, then that's probably not going to fit.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And he'll end up behind the bomber.
And let's see what the Inquisitor, yeah. So Jennifer's, splitting these Y-Wings, right? Splitting them, has the back arc, has the front arc. If Plo Koon's going to be there, really kind of looking at the Y-Wings here. That's probably the likely shot.
Right, yeah, it's the Y-Wings only have 1 agility. It's easier to get damage on them. You want to go ahead and clear them while you can for the easy points. So it looks like a 4K out of the Inquisitor. Looks like they're going to go through and mark a bunch of stuff.
Does that fit? Should, right? 2, 3. I think it should.
Yeah, it should.
Again, our angle's a little bit offset, so yeah, it looks fine.
Nice and tight.
Did spend the target lock on the concussion, right?
Yeah, still has 1 force. Assuming that Matchstick didn't go fast, which we might see a K-turn out of Matchstick as well.
Yeah.
But if Matchstick does get blocked here, then that's going to be 3 dice with a force. That plus the shuttle should be enough to finish him off.
Yeah.
So broadside with a 1 straight. He's now exactly where he wants to be. He's got range 2 or range 1 on any of these ships with his turret.
And I think you've got that 4K on lock here, Joel.
Yeah. So he saw this coming, does the 4K, and since he's sitting at I-4, he should be able to finish off the bomber before anybody has a chance to take him off the board.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if we missed the action. It looks like Jendon took a target lock. I'm curious of why there was no coordinate, right? If Jendon occurs first, coordinate before the K-turn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Whisper just 1 harding over the cloud.
Yeah.
Seems like not a bad place to be. Probably can decloak to the right afterwards.
Yeah, no, he's Whisper is safe right there. Oh, and the 1 hard.
Yeah, good call from you, Joel. Does he have bullseye there? Does he want to fine-tune to make sure on this bomber?
So he's just going to focus and sit.
Just focus.
Looks like he might have bullseye on the shuttle as well.
Yeah. and then Plo is going to get blocked onto the shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And then, so that looks like he's going to be taking a range 1 from Whisper, but he will have obstruction there, assuming Whisper decides to shoot him.
Right.
Oh, it looks like they're pointing out a deficiency in the special Plo cardboard as it does not have a little hash mark in the back to line up on the center line of the templates.
Well, how are we supposed to move around now?
Well, the same way that we always have. We have the
we survived 1.0, right?
We have the guides. We got the little bumps on the back of the thing. Just line them up on either side of the template. All right, looks like a range 2 unobstructed shot from Whisper onto broadside. Using Fifth Brother.
Oh, they've got a mod first.
Yeah.
There it is. There's the timing.
Yeah.
And then Fifth Brother into the crit.
All right, hit crit
Yeah, it doesn't spend the
onto
focus.
broadside. So now both Y-Wings no longer have access to their plated hull ability.
Structural damage. Ooh, that's tough. 0 agility now.
So Obi-Wan into the bomber, range 1.
Looks like they do have, yes, does have CLT.
Deciding whether or not he wants to spend.
Can always spend the force here, right? I think he has 2 available. Yeah. Spends the focus instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, must be on 1, right? So 3 versus 2. Focus here only for defense. 1 lives at 1.
Mm-hmm.
With matchstick bearing down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so now we've got Plo taking the range 2 into the Inquisitor for 2 hits. So that'll be one
shield
evade,
total,
so
yeah.
1 shield damage. So now Matchstick looking to take out that bomber. So that's a range 1 primary.
Yeah. And again,
For 2.
had the blinded pilot earlier, so not modifying here.
Yeah.
Spends the focus to live.
All right, then the ion cannon follow up with 4 dice.
Just 2 needs it again. Oh,
And not enough. So,
yep. So bomber dies here. Sloan does go off.
yep. So now Matchstick's sitting on 2 hull with 3 stress.
Jeez. No actions anytime soon, right,
Nope,
Joel?
and he's facing up to 2 shots coming in with rerolls
Now,
because of the stress.
I'm looking at Matchstick's card here. Did Mikhail have crack shot on those shots?
I don't think he used it, no.
Yeah, and I don't think he used those. Oh, well, he's blinded pilot, right? But
Yeah, but
he could the
crack
reroll.
shot-
Yeah, so no need for the crack shot. But I'm wondering he didn't reroll it with Matchstick's ability.
Well,
right?
he could have crack shotted the first one.
One, right, to just
Yeah.
push the damage through.
Yeah.
So he could have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, bomber goes down.
So this is the Inquisitor's shot.
I think this is Jendon, right?
No, I think it was the Inquisitor with a missile.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's 1 damage into Matchstick. So he's sitting on 1 hull. And concussion missile effect. He has to flip up one of his damage cards. And his engine is damaged, and it's so his will not be doing any turns.
Yeah.
And then the shuttle
Right.
coming in, range 2, 2 dice on the 1 die.
That's a Sloan reroll for the stress. Just the 1. Nope,
Not
and
enough.
not. Yeah. Not ending up being
So-
relevant here. There goes Magic. 57 points over to Steven total for that Y-Wing. He's got half a broadside, too. That's a lot of points being given up.
Yeah. So now broadside. Going to be taking an ion cannon shot on the Inquisitor. And if he manages to slip 2 through here, then that's an ionized Inquisitor, which he does not. Only 1, gets half. Not really what he's looking for, but a damage on one of those Inquisitors is nothing to sneeze at.
Yep. Wait, was that on the Inquisitor or on the
That was on the
Sharks?
Inquisitor.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah.
So now for the next turn, it looks like Whisper only has 1 decloak option. Both the left and the front are going to be blocked by that cloud. So then the shuttle can either stop for the shot or drift along. And that Inquisitor, it looks like probably Mikhail is looking to finish that Inquisitor this turn, see what he can get.
Yeah, I think that's what he needs to do, right?
Whisper is going to be a problem. Whisper is always a problem. And the shuttle's about to start drifting away. But so that Inquisitor is really going to be in a position where Mikhail can do something about it.
I'm concerned about the two hull here on broadside too. These Y-wings, I'm loving them, right? I love these abilities and I love these new ships. They're just going down so fast, right?
Yeah.
And with 2 hull remaining and Whisper kind of on the flank here, Decloak can probably sit behind that gas cloud, right? Decloak sit right there, take a passive sensor, take a target lock on that Y-wing, recloak again, decloak again around, right?
Yep. Looks like maybe we're looking at a 1 bank here out of broadside in order to have the side arc there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just trying to catch that Inquisitor. The Inquisitor really can't clear stress this turn and get an action on anything other than a 1 bank here. And both the Inquisitor and broadside are initiative 3. So as long as Whisper doesn't kill broadside, broadside will get to shoot at the Inquisitor.
Yeah. Well, I think you bring up Whisper. It's really concerning to me that Whisper still isn't being checked in any way, right?
Yeah.
Plo Koon's kind of facing the wrong way. Broadside's facing the wrong way. No one's really there to threaten. Maybe Obi-Wan, but just where the shuttle is, it seems like Obi-Wan might not be able to make a play in there without risking some damage back, right? And you don't want to do that with just 4 health. Whisper kind of has the run of the mill here. And with 30 minutes left, that's a lot of time for Whisper to play around, right?
Yeah.
Can off a Y-Wing really quickly, really limit those options, and then start chasing a Jedi around.
Well, now Steven is first player.
That's right, yeah.
So both Jedi will move after Whisper, which, especially since they have CLT, gives them a big advantage to line up that bullseye and deal consistent damage.
Yeah.
So I guess the next question, though, if Steven moves the shuttle out first, then the Inquisitor has a chance to do the 1 hard here.
Yeah.
However, if he moves the Inquisitor first, then when the shuttle moves, he can coordinate.
Okay, that makes sense.
So he's got options either way. And that is...
Here's the decloak right. I think to the back is probably what Steven's looking for, right? Yeah.
He's looking for a 2 straight, probably. Yeah. Keeping him nice and safe behind this wall of invincibility here.
Moving the Inquisitor first, clearing the stress with the 1 bank.
Yeah. So he's probably going to take the evade. Yeah.
Yep.
And then the shuttle doesn't move.
Stops. Yeah, so really good blocking position here for Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Okay, moving faster, wants to get away from Whisper here.
Yeah, it makes sense. Wants to get at least another shot off. Is an arc of the Inquisitor. I don't think there's any target lock left, right?
No target lock.
Yeah, so just any primaries if shots were to come that way. And just a focus there. Ion cannon turret facing that way. 1 bank, it looks like. Does it clip the gas?
He is fine.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's not going to be killing broadside this turn.
Yeah,
so
could actually be killing a Jedi, though. Then there's the passive sensors.
Yeah, yeah. All right, looks like...
I think a 1 turn here from Plo based on the template in hand.
Yeah, we'll see if that clears. So it looked like he was a little bit in front of Jendon's corner.
Right.
So his back corner may not clear Jendon's base.
And they're going to try to put back here. Let's see.
All right, looking.
Yeah. X-Wing Twister. Everyone's favorite side event. And Steven's having a hard time putting that shuttle back. Yep, and there's the judge call.
Yeah, this is a really critical turn because if Plo completes this and does the barrel roll over here,
that's a CLT shot, right?
Gets the bullseye right there. CLT potentially 4 damage into 2. That's quite a bit.
So waiting for the judge to come around to determine there. While we're waiting here, this coverage of the X-Wing World Championship 2019 Day 1B is brought to you by CurlPawCreatives.com. Use the promo code WORLDS2019 for 15% off your order. Those are the tokens you're seeing on the board, and they do a great job of making sure we have all the equipment available. We've got all the tokens to give you an awesome stream. So judge is over now.
All right, and the judge has decided that it is indeed a bump.
Oh, that's so tough for Mikhail here.
It's not great, but at the same time, he still has bullseye on that Inquisitor.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So where he is now
is the exact same place, right?
The exact same place, yeah. So where he's now,
that's a good point, Joel.
As long as he still has his 2 force, isn't really so bad.
Yep. And here's Obi-Wan over again. Now checking Whisper, right?
Yeah.
Wondering if he has CLT. Doesn't look like it. Looks like it's offset.
Yeah.
Boosting.
Trying for the boost.
Crab Claw in the way. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So he gets it without bumping at all. Comes down. He's going to have range 1 here. And just focus for the action.
All right. So he's going to force Whisper to make a tough choice on who he shoots.
Right.
All right,
and yeah, passive sensors, yeah.
Looks like that might be obstructed. I don't think they've checked yet.
And again, we're at an angle, so not exactly a line. Now
yeah.
I think Steven's checking to make sure.
Yeah, he just looks up and says, "Are we obstructed?"
Both players shaking dice and then coming to the same conclusion.
Yeah.
So players coming to check here.
So Whisper makes this shot, right? Like we saw in an earlier match, a range 1 shot from Whisper one-shotting a CLT Jedi, right? Like, so we could see that again here.
Right.
And that would be a terrible turn of events for Mikhail. All right, looks like 1 result. Target lock going for 3 more. 3 focuses. Can only change 1 of those. And facing a range 1 shot in return. All right, so
just the 1. Mikhail rolls 4, no problem.
Yeah. All right, looks like they decided it was indeed obstructed.
And Obi-Wan spends the focus here, not seeing any threats. Yeah, he has it with 2, can convert with 3. Safe there.
So then Plo's shot.
So now they're checking on obstruction back now, yeah.
Because of the angles, that's not necessarily the same thing.
Yeah. And Mikhail mentioned that even though those evades came through, you'd have to re-roll if you it didn't roll the right amount of dice.
Right, yeah. All right, so they're going going to a judge to decide how far back to roll it.
Exactly.
So the situation is Obi-Wan fires, assuming unobstruction.
Yep.
And then Whisper defends, assuming obstruction.
Right.
And then they decided that it, in fact, was not obstructed. So how far back, how many rolls do you have to redo? Basically?
Exactly. So here, the key is Steven rolled 3, right? And Mikhail's argument is if you roll too many, you re-roll the die, right?
Yes.
You don't remove one, right? You have to re-roll. So,
all right,
so they're okay here. They're okay with the results.
Yeah.
And they've moved on. So Plo here has the CLT.
Yeah, spending both force for 2 results into the Inquisitor.
Yeah, and so the second one is there.
So the Inquisitor fires. Or perhaps Jendon. He's a 3-2.
Yeah.
So all 3 of the remaining ships are all at initiative 3. So Jendon, rear shot, range 2.
And has the structural damage ready, remember, so just takes the 1.
So 1 hull remaining. And 2 out of the Inquisitor. So he's still gets to fire back, being at the same initiative. Broadside's ability to change a blank to a focus. Spend the focus for 3.
Yep, force evade.
And
all
safe.
good there. Tough exchange again for Mikhail, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these agility 1 ships that are slow and can't really get out of the way just soak up the damage. So looking like moving on to the planning stage. And cloaking on Whisper. Wondering where these Jedi are going to go. Whisper looking good for a decloak up and come back around, maybe with a 2 bank. Then or a 1 bank if he gets out far enough. That leaves Plo potentially to come in if he wants to trade. Obi-Wan isn't really in a position where he could take advantage of Whisper's decloak position. But he is in a great position to hunt at the shuttle. The Inquisitor, not having taken any damage from Broadside's attack, is in a great position just to 1 hard here and evade, take a lock, whatever he wants to do, and see what he can contribute to the fight. So talking a minute about the setup for the stream for this week, Gold Squadron Podcast has 3 separate streaming tables going on right now. And we have each of these feeding into a central stream. This is quite an impressive setup. Very happy to be able to bring this to you to cover the 2019 Worlds.
So looking at the board state here, Steven's decloak options, doesn't think he has left, right?
No, well, he does. He could probably go back, I think, but then he'd be facing that cloud.
Yeah.
So I really think he's going to be going up and then coming around the top of the crab claw.
So, and there is the decloak left, right?
Oh, calling me out.
Yep. I thought you were an Imperial player, Joel.
Well, sometimes you take the cloud.
Yeah.
It looks like he decided that was the safer place to be.
Getting behind Plo, too, right?
Yeah.
Jendon, looking like it might not clear, might bump here, might stay still if it does. Oh, and it clears. Yeah, no problem there.
Doing a coordinate out of the shuttle. which he could coordinate a barrel roll on Whisper.
Yeah.
Do some
Half decloak, right?
some additional lateral. Inquisitor. Trying to decide what he's going to do here. So he's going to reposition and potentially link. Yep, link into a focus.
And he gets a focus and then gets the one hard. Yeah, declare it. Good little combination there.
Yep.
Yep. Getting the target lock, so many actions.
Mm-hmm. One bank coming through the cloud, don't even care.
Won't have any actions here, right?
Yeah, it looks like there's not really anywhere that those Jedi can go to get good shots this turn.
Yeah. Again, under 20 minutes now, Steven has the lead. Mikhail's kind of pressing a little bit with his 2 Jedi.
All right, he saw it coming and is trying to get out.
Yeah. Obi-Wan's just going to reset.
Yeah. Especially with these fast ships that don't have really slow maneuvers. Sometimes you just have to leave an engagement in order to come back around.
And we
again.
mentioned Mikhail's down, but again, you don't want that pressure to get to you, right?
Yeah.
As far as, you want to be able to win within this 20 minutes. It's not a ton of time, but it's a couple of rounds, right?
Yeah.
If you get too aggressive with Obi here, Obi might get popped, and then that really just seals the game for you. There we go, debating the action here. No arc, so maybe a preemptive target lock. Elbow down.
Yeah. So looking at these points, as long as Mikhail doesn't give up half on either of his Jedi, then if he kills the shuttle, then that should be enough to win.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah, it is. It's going to put him over 100. Yeah. But Jenkins here still has 2 shields. It's a long way to go.
Yeah.
And again, when Jenkins starts feeling threatened, you can always get the reinforced, right?
Right. However, it is much easier to grab that bullseye for CLT on the large base.
That's true.
So 8 damage in 18 minutes is certainly possible. But he has to do it all while mitigating the threat from the other 2 ships.
Right.
So Whisper getting
range 2, it looks like.
Into Plo.
5th brother, just the hit crit.
So spending the focus, taking the shield, not giving up points yet.
But 1 away from it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Calling for a judge to arc check.
And again, these are important turns, right? So Steven just calling for the judge to make sure the arc on the Inquisitor, right? Jedi for sure not shooting. Jenkins not shooting.
So looking at the Inquisitor arc to Obi-Wan.
So now checking. Doesn't quite look like it from our angle, but could be close because we're at a tilt.
Yeah, and if he manages to sneak in damage here, then that's, even if he just blinks the shield off, right?
Yeah.
Then that's just
1 away, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Jenkins might have that back arc.
Checking that.
Oh, judge call again. Come right back. Steven remarking that there's no way, and as soon as he puts the temple down, well, wait, maybe.
Yeah.
Again, reminder for those who are just tuning in and joining us. This is round 4. These players are 2-1. 5-2 is what makes it at the end of the day. Having 2 losses puts you in elimination for the rest of the day.
Yep.
Not a position either of these players want to be in. You're much more comfortable at 3-1.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's no shot there. Judge
All
has
right.
ruled. So I think we're ready to move on. We'll probably get the recloak here from Whisper. Yeah.
Alrighty. So it looks like the decloak options are a little limited.
Yeah, does he get the 2 forward if he wants it?
Yeah, I think he does.
Okay.
I don't think there's a full base width in between him and the Inquisitor.
Yeah, the hard part is he's moving first, right? So first instinct is 2 forward, 3 hard, something like that to try to chase, but I'm not sure if it fits.
Yeah, if you do that 3 hard, though, you open yourself up to
Obi-Wan coming back,
yeah.
coming back around, yeah.
Yeah. So really what Mikhail needs in this situation is to get one of Whisper or Jindin dead or get half of both of them.
Yeah. Half on both. Well, it's only 2. It's only 3 damage total, right?
Yeah.
1 damage on Plo,
1,
2 on
2,
Obi-Wan.
3.
Oh, yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 damage total. Trying to get half on both Whisper and Jindin. Still a difficult ask.
And looks both players, again, under 15 minutes now, really taking their time with these dials.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've seen crazier games already today, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen them swing on the last one. We've seen them swing when time hits 0, so not ruling anything out.
And this shuttle's coming up on the corner, so it's going to have to maybe do a hard 2 this turn.
You think so? Just to come back around just based on the time, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to make sure that he doesn't end up trapped in that corner and running off the board edge.
And then, you're right. So there's the decloak forwards. You're right. Good call there on the hard 2. Again, not really caring about the gas clouds. Going to take the stress anyway.
Yeah.
Has the nice easy 1 bank on the next turn.
Yep. Not too close to that board edge. Also is bringing its gun kind of back around into the fight.
Yeah. Inquisitor, I think that's a relatively straightforward here. One hard.
So he goes on the cloud,
Yep.
no action.
Whisper just the 1 instead of the 3, yeah. Now, again, risking the Obi-Wan coming around again, but having Arc on Plo or Obi-Wan is pretty good here.
Yeah, being tighter into that cloud than the 3 is really nice, too, to
Yeah.
kind of defend yourself from Obi-Wan coming in.
So, yeah, it takes the 2 banks. I'm not coming over. Won't have Arc this. Oh, no, 2 sloop.
Sloop.
Takes the stress. Wonder who the target lock is, right? I'm wondering if Steven has concussion missiles, right, on this Inquisitor.
Well, those are... Yeah, that is the...
How's your Arabish nowadays?
Symbol recognition's okay. No, that is the Inquisitor's lock. And he should still have 1 concussion up. Yeah, still see 1 charge left on the concussion missiles card.
Okay, might have a really good shot on Obi-Wan here. No additional mods, though, because hitting the gas cloud didn't get an action this turn.
Well, the Force.
Oh, yeah, well, we'll have the Force, yeah.
So looking at what the options are with Plo this turn.
And so just sitting on the focus.
Yeah.
Might not have Arc.
So it looks like they're retaining the judge's services for more
Yeah.
arc checks in a moment.
And so, yep, there's the passive sensors lock.
So it looks like a range 2 into Plo. Trying to push another damage in there.
3,
Ooh.
that sounds pretty good.
And
Yeah, has to spend the focus. Safe there.
question is, does he use an Obi-Wan Force to keep it? And he does not.
Nope.
Looks like he's hoping to push damage through on the Inquisitor this turn because he doesn't have an evade.
Yeah. And again, Judge on the table right away for the call.
Yeah. So it looks like the judge
yeah.
is using an extra long, and so it has to get the shuttle out of the way.
Looks.
Well, he's using there's a center line.
Oh, yeah, that's
on
right.
there, so that's what he's using.
Well, it looks really close now with the center line.
Yeah. This being in arc or not could be a big deal. And it is
It
in
is
arc.
in arc, just barely range 1. Now it's obstructed, right? I'd imagine
it would
so.
be not obstructed.
Not obstructed was the judge call. 3 versus 3.
Spin
Spin
that
the force. That's pretty good too. Just has the force here for defense.
Yep.
A little nervous here for Steven.
Oh.
Yep,
so
and that's a dead Inquisitor. Hit crit goes through.
Yep.
Under 10 minutes left. Inquisitor off the board. Initiative killed.
And then Plo gets stressed. Sloan is unhappy.
Yep. Second trigger now for Sloan.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan might.
So range 3 from Obi-Wan into the Lambda.
No
for
CLT.
1.
He's got the evade there. And we are going to look at that dice cam here in a second. Right after this round, we'll push it over a little bit as much as we can.
All right, so it looks like range 2 from the shuttle into Plo.
Yep.
Sloan reroll nets nothing. Now he's out.
So here we go. Recloak here on the Whisper. Mikhail's still down, but not nearly as much as before.
So looking at win condition moving forward, right? So clearing the Inquisitor wasn't really something that looked likely the previous turn,
Yeah.
right? So that kind of changes the dynamic and what needs to happen now for Mikhail.
Yeah, so we are sub 10 minutes here. Mikhail's kind of, we were talking about Jendon earlier.
Yeah.
I think that's still a good call here, but you're 1 away from Plo being half, right? You really don't want to give up anything else.
So if he takes half on Jendon, that's going to be 28 points, which will be enough to pull out the win.
Yep.
So all that needs is 3 more damage into Jendon without giving up any points in return.
Yeah, but it's so hard. Again, it's just the double stress on Plo. No actions there.
Yeah. Probably going to have a 1 hard coming out of Whisper this turn.
Yeah, and if you slam into Jendon here, it's a tough shot. All you'll have is force, right?
Yeah. Jendon deciding what it is he wants to do with his life.
Surprise for no reinforce out the front here.
So 1 hard out of Whisper. No surprise there.
Passive sensor here for the target lock, just to make sure.
Yeah, probably. Really wants to push that damage.
Yeah. Almost had it last turn. Really needs it here to secure a victory.
Yeah. Oh, still has the lock from before.
Oh, that's. Oh yeah, 3 natural.
Yeah. So no need for the passive sensor. He's going to go ahead and barrel roll.
Probably anticipating a 1 hard here from Plo. One bank, slam straight into the shuttle. No shots into Jendon from Plo. Will most likely take a shot from Whisper here.
Yeah. Looks like that. From here, it looks like that's unobstructed.
Yep.
And then
slamming into Plo there is Obi-Wan. Maybe?
Oh, looks like he makes it.
No, he doesn't. He definitely bumps there. Oh, and might not have CLT from this angle? Whisper's going to shoot first. Fives go first. If Plo's unobstructed, it's a pretty clear shot, right?
Yeah. That'll be no. Obi didn't bump.
Obi didn't bump?
Obi didn't
okay,
bump.
yeah.
So he's gonna fine tune to barrel roll over, make sure he has that bullseye on the shuttle. So that has bullseye. CLT's a sure thing. Gonna go ahead and take that focus to enable the full CLT power. And looking. All right, range 1 unobstructed, not looking good for Plo here.
Steven just looking for the 1 damage.
Yeah.
Has 5th brother, remember. Oh, well, he doesn't need it again.
Yeah. Oh,
Three.
and 3 evades
Oh.
there.
Plo takes a crit. Good sportsmanship out of there from Mikhail. Natty on natty action.
And
Fuel leak.
So 1 more crit coming in, and Plo is a goner. All right, so Obi-Wan firing at the shuttle, has that CLT there. This could be half on the shuttle.
Yeah, force it looks like, yep. Yeah, really surprised didn't reinforce. Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter,
half.
right?
So shuttle into Obi-Wan.
So not quite half on Jendon.
Yeah, yeah.
1 away.
So with only 4.5 minutes left, the goalpost has been moved.
3.
So
Takes 1, so
takes
not
one
quite
shield.
half on Obi-Wan.
Yeah. So at this point,
hits and evades all in the chat. Hits and evades all in the chat.
so at this point, Mikhail is still in a winning position if he can kill the shuttle. But that's a pretty steep ask with only 4 minutes left.
Yeah, he needs to do all 6. And again, CLT shots can do it. But again, I'm surprised Steven doesn't bring out the reinforce here just to make sure. I'd imagine 3 straight reinforce back. 4 minutes left. No, coming back around. Yeah, not giving up anything for free. And then you still have Whisper, right? The entire game, Whisper's been unchecked, right?
Yeah.
Whisper's just been able to roam back, decloak to the right. I'd imagine here, maybe a 2 straight, just to check anything there. Take another shot. Plo's already at half, but Obi-Wan again, same situation as before, 1 from half.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, the target lock's already on Plo. 2 away from damage. You take just focus, right? And you go focus, 5th brother, target lock onto Plo. If you have a good shot there, you can end it and likely end the game at that point.
Yeah.
And both players really taking their time, spinning their dials here. Onus is on Mikhail to get 50-ish points.
And at this point, that absolutely means killing something. Half of Whisper won't do it, but half of Whisper and half of Jendon might.
Yeah. And looking around the other tables, no, we got a decloak here. Decloak to the left.
Yep. Probably coming in with a bank.
Yeah, are you looking like at a 3 bank here?
Might just be a 1. Just cast a wide net.
Yeah.
He's.
And you're right. Good call, Joel.
Yeah.
You've never played Whisper before.
He's pretty happy with his position right now. He's up on points, and he's far enough ahead that Mikhail has to do a lot in order to actually get back in there. So he's going to take patient maneuvers that don't give Mikhail an opening.
Right.
Looks like Mikhail may have revealed a red with Plo while stressed. So he doesn't clear the white 2 straight that he has to execute, so he just stays where he is. So that's range 1 again into Plo from Whisper.
You got to feel the Plo's over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nice loop out of Obi-Wan.
And here's Whisper on range 1.
Yeah.
No need for passive sensors. Doesn't want to take the calculate. Has 5th brother as well. Oh, this is a slow reroll.
Reroll, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
that's it for Plo. Fuel leak there. Bunch of damage. 5 cards.
Yep.
There it is.
Yep. So now Obi-Wan now having to kill the shuttle and half Whisper.
Yeah. On 1 shot, right?
Yep.
No. Oh, and he's got the 2 force here. You take it, right? That's your only chance. You're already so far behind. Yeah, and he does.
Yeah.
3 and a crit. Oh, he gets 1.
Yeah. And direct.
Direct hit.
All right.
Yeah, and we did hear time in the round from the announcer for the X-Wing, so I think this might be the last turn. We've got about 10 seconds left on ours.
So slow and re-roll for the stress.
Yeah, it wasn't. So that.
So one comes through for half on Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I think that'll seal it here, right? Yeah. And there's the official timer call in the round.
Looks like, are they going to set up for another round?
Yep.
Yep, looks like they have entered the planning phase.
Yeah. So time in the round has been called. Takes one on Obi-Wan. Needs 68 points here just to tie. I just don't see it, right? If you kill Jendon, right? And the problem here is you need multiple shots, right? Killing Jendon here only gives you 20-some more points, 22-ish.
Well, it is possible to kill Whisper in one shot.
That is technically correct.
With CLT. So that is really the only way to get enough points with only one shot.
Yeah.
Is if you can manage to line up CLT.
Range 1 CLT, right?
Range 1 CLT. Roll everything you need, including a crit, and pull that direct hit.
Yeah, and then there's the reinforce there behind, making sure N3 get out of town.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay,
that's it. Looking for Jendon here. And so last shot here on Obi-Wan, range 1 CLT.
Yep.
Let's get some natties going. Just to end it. Yes, spends the focus.
There it is.
No
and
problem.
That guarantees it.
Yep. So there goes Jendon. And that's it. There's the GG coming out. Steven goes up to 3-1. Mikhail 2-2. He's got to go 3-0 if he wants to advance to Saturday. Steven just needs to win 2 more. And he still has room to lose the game. You know, tough game here for Mikhail. I think every single trade early on, just a little bit behind. A little bit behind. And these Y-Wings going out so quickly. Not, maybe if you had one more turn on each Y-Wing and dumps on damage, could be a little bit different. So it ends up being relatively close compared to the way the first engage on from at least a points perspective.
Right. Yeah. No, I think it shows what can happen when when the dice smile on you, right? Like with those early engages, the bomber on Steven's side didn't take a lot of damage because it had that second green die that was showing evades, right?
Yeah.
But Mikhail didn't really have the possibility of that happening because he's only throwing one at a time.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes a higher health pool will take you farther, and sometimes having more dice will.
Right. And so that's it for round 4 from us. We're going to pass it back to Dion. Thank you again for watching. We'll be back with round 5 of the X-Wing World Championship Day 1B.